It's no secret that the greater Detroit area was once home to some of the largest and most extravagant mansions ever built in the United States, but this is one that has mostly been forgotten. Hi everyone, Ken here. Today we are uncovering Stonehurst in Grosse Pointe, Michigan. Hit that subscribe button and let's explore this house. In 1811, John Ford was born in a modest log cabin in Danville, Kentucky. His father, Jonathan, had departed to fight in the War of 1812 and never returned, leaving John and his mother Margaret to forge their own path. At the young age of 12 years old, John was apprenticed to a saddle maker, a difficult and often thankless job that taught him the value of hard work and helped him to support his mother. After enduring his apprenticeship, he struck out on his own, eventually finding his way to Greenville, Indiana. There he met and married Mary Bauer, a schoolteacher who imparted to him skills that would prove essential in the years to come. Together, John and Mary built a life in Greenville, starting with a small dry goods store that could serve the community's needs. As John's ambitions grew, so did their ventures. Soon they were running a thriving saddlery and even a flour mill. But as the years passed, John's visions outgrew the small town. In 1854, he moved his family to New Albany, Indiana, where he began a new chapter that would lay the foundation for a legacy of industrial might. New Albany saw Ford's talents flourish. He founded an iron mill, ventured into shipbuilding, and even ran his own fleet of steamboats, which earned him the honorary title of captain. But it was his foray into glassmaking, inspired by his son Emery, that would forever change the course of the Ford family. After a few challenging starts, Ford established the Pittsburgh Plate Glass Company in 1883, later known as PPG Industries, which became the first successful American plate glass manufacturer, finally breaking Europe's monopoly on high-quality glass. With each business success, John Ford accumulated wealth and influence, and his family expanded its reach into a variety of industries. Ford's ventures included glass and chemicals, but it was soda ash production in Michigan that proved especially lucrative as it supplied vital resources for his glassworks. By the time of his death in 1903, John Ford had built an industrial empire that would sustain his family for generations to come. One of the beneficiaries of this fortune was Stella Ford, John's granddaughter. In 1914, she married Joseph Schlotman, and together they embarked on a journey that would culminate in the creation of Stonehurst, a grand estate on the shores of Lake St. Clair and Grosse Pointe. After an extended honeymoon in Europe, Stella and Joseph returned to Michigan. Inspired by the elegance and opulence they had encountered abroad, they commissioned renowned architect Albert Spar to bring their vision to life. Construction on Stonehurst began in earnest, and by 1917, the manor stood complete, a sprawling 40-room mansion reflecting early English Renaissance style. Spar's design captured the grandeur Stella had envisioned, with a layout that balanced intimate family spaces with rooms meant for entertaining on a grand scale. It was surrounded by perfectly manicured gardens and expansive lawns hosting reflecting pools. Wandering about the property, you could lose yourself on the garden paths, stepping down into secluded pavilions surrounded by mature trees. The estate was an architectural wonder. A circular drive led to a cantilever glass porte-cochere which shielded guests as they entered through the elaborate iron doors. Inside, the Great Hall, with its ornately carved oak paneling, welcomes us into this grand mansion. If visiting as guests, we might be ushered into the atrium adorned with marble and stone, a room that framed breathtaking views of the lake and acted as the reception room. To either side of the floor-to-ceiling fireplace, openings into other rooms tease us to keep exploring. Let's head back out into the Great Hall, continuing a bit further down until the grand staircase comes into view. We'll see more of it later when we venture upstairs, but for now we can take in its beauty and admire the intricate plasterwork above us on the ceiling. In the meantime, let's continue all the way to the end of the Great Hall and head through the pair of pocket doors. This brings us into the music room, once again clad in oak paneling and set below an intricately detailed cove ceiling. I want to call your attention to a few of the smaller details in this room that really speak to the quality of the house's craftsmanship. The fireplace's upper mantle displays wood crest flanked by knights in shining armor, not from metal but from hand-carved, polished wood, with details so delicate they appear to be free from the mantle altogether, something we notice from the sword of the central knight, which is almost completely detached. Next we'll head into the library, where built-in bookshelves blend seamlessly into the paneling and are overshadowed by robust plasterwork overhead. Combining all these architectural features we have seen so far, the dining room boasts Jacobean elegance evident from the tracery on the ceiling and stone fireplace offering intricate relief. And set on a smaller, albeit grand display, the breakfast room is where the family would have enjoyed their meals when not entertaining. And if we look closely through the doorway, we actually get a glimpse of the dining room's fireplace in full color. Back in the Great Hall, we'll return to the grand staircase and begin making our way upstairs. At the landing, we are almost overwhelmed by the level of detailing in the woodwork, from twisting balustrade to newel posts topped by urns, and all glowing under the light of stained glass windows. Looking up from this point, we see that the second floor takes an interesting aesthetic turn and introduces a milky, painted finish on the millwork. The couple's bedroom continues with this new theme, and even though it was becoming more common for couples of the upper class to share a bedroom, they still kept separate beds. Something interesting about this suite is that the bedroom still had separate rooms attached to it for the married couple. This room was their sitting room, and on the opposite side, this room was his study. Stonehurst was a beacon of social life in Grosse Pointe. Stella and Joseph hosted countless events, from charity galas to debutante balls for their granddaughters. Even after Joseph passed away in 1951, Stella continued to entertain at the mansion, preserving the traditions they had built together. She remained at Stonehurst until her death in 1974. In February of that year, with Stella gone and the era of grand estates drawing to a close, Stonehurst was open to the public one last time. Visitors walked through its halls, marveling at the architecture and furnishings that had defined a bygone era. Then in April, the contents of the mansion were auctioned and the house was demolished to make way for new development. The land that had once supported a 30-acre estate was divided into smaller parcels, each marked by the memories of what had stood there before. Today, Stonehurst exists only in memory and photographs, its presence preserved in the stories passed down by those who knew it and in the street names that pay homage to Grosse Pointe's storied past. What did you think about Stonehurst? Did you have a favorite room? Let me know down below in the comments section. And while you're there, make sure to hit that subscribe button so you never miss an exciting episode of This House.